Following a tough 32 to 19 loss in week 1 of the NFL season, what were the biggest takeaways from the Jets opening matchup and how will they be able to bounce back against the Tennessee Titans? It's a Tuesday edition of NY Flight Jets Talk and we are live.
Jets, Jets, let's go.
Jets wide receiver Wesley Walker. Wesley, how you doing today? ESPN writer Mr. Rich Cimini, Jets reporter for The Athletic, Mr. Zach Rosenblatt, Hall of Famer and Jets legend Mr. Marty Lyons.
Your host, Connor Law.
Welcome in everyone. We are here for a Tuesday evening edition of NY Flight Jets Talk, and yes, I don't even think I need to explain it. I went on a bit of a rant during my post-game show last night over on the Jets X Factor YouTube channel, but wow. Very, very tough game last night. The Jets lose 32 to 19. And a lot of it, I think, is that the defensive line's fault. The run defense was just incompetent, if you want to put it that way. It was just terrible performance on the run defense. You know, we saw Jalen Holmes was elevated from the practice squad, was one of the more contributing players on the interior of the defensive line. So the run stopping was just terrible last night. They couldn't catch a break. They couldn't catch a break. Undrafted free agent Jordan Mason had 147 yards on the ground. 147 yards. Could you imagine if Christian McCaffrey was active for last night's matchup? Probably would have had around 200 yards on the ground. Just terrible overall showing from the defensive line. We're going to break everything down here on the New York Flight Jets Talk, YouTube channel. If you want to submit a super chat, just click the $sign right in the corner. The link to become a channel member is in the chat. I really appreciate all the support out of you guys, and I'll throw it in the chat one more time because it looks like it got away. And the call-in link also, if you'd like to call into the show, is the pinned comment in the chat. We greatly appreciate all the support, but let's get right into it here. I did go into it a little there, but the run defense obviously was one of the main reasons the Jets struggled to stop Jordan Mason last night, and that was one of the main things that was the key to the 49ers victory. Obviously, Kyle Shanahan, we know he's an offensive genius. We know he's able to craft game plans to work around Robert Saleh's defensive scheme and Jeff Ulbrich as well. But still, there is no excuse for that. There is no excuse for that. There is no excuse. It's that simple. The Jets should be able to contain someone like Mason to under 150 yards. It just, the third down's a whole nother thing. Jets couldn't get off the field. Jets defense couldn't get off the field. It was just third down conversion after third down conversion. They'd have a nice stand, force a 3rd and 7, something in that range, and then they just couldn't get off the field. That is what helped lead the 49ers to victory. The Jets offense just couldn't get on the field. Defense was on the field the whole game, eating clock, scoring. That was the theme of the game. They simply could not get the offense on the field. And when the offense was on the field, they played fine. Yes, I would like Rodgers to utilize more of his offense. We saw him complete passes to only 3 players, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, and Allen Lazard. I definitely think that, you should use more of the offense. We didn't see Tyler Conklin have a reception until garbage time when Tyrod Taylor came in the game. We didn't see Braylon Allen take a snap. He took a snap. We didn't see him touch the ball until Tyrod Taylor came in garbage time. 9 yards, 1 reception, 7 yards. That was Braylon Allen's line last night. Couldn't get him on the field. And I think one of the keys, if the Jets offense really wants to have success this season, I thought Rodgers played great for not playing live football for over a year. Thought he played great. Incredible. But they just need to utilize more pieces of that offense. I want to see him throw to the tight ends. He has a history of throwing to the tight ends over the past, and I want to see, really want to see him go to Conklin. I think Conklin, if Aaron Rodgers throws the ball to Tyler Conklin, I think he is in for a career season. I think he's in for a career year if he is able to get the ball to Tyler Conklin. I think that is what is going to happen. I want to see some Malachi Corley too. We saw him come in for 1 snap, I saw, and then they audibled right out. It was a run play to Breece Hall. Want to see more of him. Need to utilize the offense more. That's simple as that. Defensive line utilizing the offense more. I think that's what really, stopped the Jets from winning the game last night. Most importantly, the defensive line. And, it's great to see the offense shine because there are some question marks there. And, I'd rather have a solid showing in that game, in a tough game like that. I'd rather have a tough game like that where the offense performs better than the defense just because the defense has shown they are elite. The offense is not. There are so many question marks there. The defense has shown that they're elite. I don't think that's a pressing concern right now, but still, they've shown they're elite. They definitely can improve. And they've shown us, like I said, they can be an elite defense. I think that Sean Franklin Myers loss, though, it flew under the radar at the time, but I think this is going to be a huge loss for the Jets' interior run defense. I know it was a bit of concern. Some people were talking about it, but it was not hyped up enough. People were like, "Oh God, just don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it." It is a concern. It is a concern because the Jets are going to have to face elite running backs this season, especially if they want to make a deep run in the playoffs. And it's not going to work if you have run blocking like that. Not going to work if your run defense is playing like that. Just it can't happen. So it's up to everyone in the chat. Let's see. BT plays games. Good to see you in the chat. Alan, CL, it might be time to seek emancipation from Papa Long. He has committed the ultimate sin, parental sin, for steering you to this SHIT show. Definitely, again, not a great start. Not a great start. Not a great start this season. Not what you really want to see to start the year, but still. This game means just as much as the game on Sunday against the Tennessee Titans. And I think if the Jets want to show, hey, this was just a tough matchup, there is some rust, they got to make a statement by going out and beating the Titans. And then after that, the Jets have a very, very easy schedule all the way up to the Halloween game. They have leading up to their Halloween game on Thursday Night Football against the Texans. They have the Titans, Patriots, Broncos, Vikings, Bills, Steelers, Patriots. There is no reason they can win every game all the way up until that stretch. There is no reason why they can't do that. Definitely think it'll get better, though. Let's see. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. What's up? Good to see you in the chat. Appreciate all the support here. Tough loss indeed, Ollie. Tough loss indeed. Yes, Sander. Very, very tough game. Very tough game. Let's see. Ollie, yes, it did. Season did start. Let's see. Ulbrich. Wildwave. Ulbrich got to get creative because that game was so not wavy. Yes, definitely. But again, like I said, in a game like that where you're still trying to figure things out in just week 1 of the season, it's okay to see stuff like that. It's okay. There is some rush. There is some rust. For sure. Rodgers, and it's good to see that Rodgers played well. 1,000%. 1,000%. It's good to see Rodgers played well. That was one of the concerns. Is Rodgers going to be able to return to prime form? I thought we saw some vintage Rodgers there, but in terms of Ulbrich's game plan, yes, I agree. But they said it on the broadcast too. Kyle Shanahan knows how to craft offensive. He's an offensive genius, first off, and Robert Saleh was his defensive coordinator. He knows how to work around Saleh's system. He knows how to do it. Let's see. Rivka Board of Jets X Factors in the chat. Hey, Connor, figured I'd stop by. Rivka, appreciate the support. Everyone check out her work. Rivka Board on Twitter. Puts out a ton of great articles over on Jet X Factor. Appreciate the support, Rivka. Let's see. Wildwave. Not going to rush the rookies. They're going to ease them into the system. Still, I want to see more Braylon Allen. As the year goes on. I mean, we saw him literally touch the ball 2 times, and he looked fine while he did it. Still, I want to see, even if it's not the rookies, ease Conklin into the system. I know Williams was on a pitch count. We didn't see him we didn't see the ball get thrown his way. Ease him into the system as the season goes on. Xavier Gipson. Not a ton of him. I want to see more of him again as the year goes on. I want to utilize this offense. Rodgers has such a strong supporting cast. I want to see him use it. Really, really do. I understand, for example, if I were to say that about Isaiah Davis, I understand that. And I'm a big fan of Davis. I just don't think he's going to get on the field much. But in terms of Braylon Allen, I don't think there's any excuse why Braylon Allen shouldn't be on the field. He shouldn't have been on the field more. I don't see why there's an excuse for that. Deserved a lot more snaps than he did. Let's see. Jaden. Hassan Reddick. Yes. Hassan Reddick, that's the major question now. When is he going to report to training camp? not camp, not training camp anymore. When is he going to report to Jets facility in Florham Park? When is that going to happen? And after last night's game, I think that puts even a big of a larger price on Reddick. That just goes to show the Jets need a pure pass rusher like Reddick. Jets haven't had a pure pass rusher since John Abrahams. They saw it last year. With Bryce Huff, someone who got the Jets 11 sacks. The Jets need someone who is going to just get after the pass. The Jets pass rush didn't look great. Just defensive line, obviously the run blocking, the run stopping, is a whole nother ball game. But the defensive line as a whole just did not look great last night. Definitely room for improvement. Jermaine Johnson. Thought Jermaine Johnson was going to have a great game last night. He played terribly. Overall PFF grade of 30.1. Not a great showing from JJ, and then he had a holding call to give the 49ers an automatic first down when the Jets stopped them on third down. That was really, really tough. It was not great. I was expecting a big game out of Johnson last night. I was expecting a sack, lining up against tackle Colton McKivitz, who gave up 9 sacks last season, 4th most in the league. McKivitz had several penalties last night. Expecting a big game out of Johnson, just didn't show it. Brady McGregor, we saw him for a little. He was the lowest graded player for the Jets per PFF, 29.3 grade. Will McDonald, not great, 30.3. It's just overall not a great game from the defense. Overall, just a poor showing, really poor showing. Rivka, regarding Conklin, Rodgers threw many touchdowns to Tonyan a few years ago, but he often did not target tight ends out of the red zone. Conklin was also left into chip a lot. In terms of Robert Tonyan, yeah, I definitely remember that he had a huge run a few years ago when Rodgers was at the helm. He played great. And that's what I meant. He goes to a lot of his tight ends in the red zone. That's why I think Conklin's in for a career season, because we saw him with that yardage last year at over 500 yards receiving, but no touchdowns. The Jets are able to utilize him and Ruckert in the red zone. I think that'll help the Jets exponentially enter as the season goes on. Exponentially for sure. But again, he needs to utilize. We didn't see Conklin get the ball didn't go Conklin's way until Tyrod Taylor came in garbage time. I'm a huge fan of Conklin's game. I don't understand why people doubt Conklin. I think he's a very, very solid overall tight end. We saw what he could do with Trevor Siemian, Tim Boyle, and Zach Wilson. I think if the ball comes his way, he has a chance to do great things for the Jets this season. Let's see. Phoenix Cards. Hey, this is Ben. Thoughts on Rodgers' play? Thought Rodgers looked fine when the ball was in his hands. Thought he looked fine when the ball was in his hands. 13-21, 167 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Threw that deep touchdown to Allen Lazard. And, I thought he was getting the ball out of his hands, quick. He was really slinging the ball. Thought he looked great. And it's only going to improve as the season goes on. Keep in mind, he played 4 snaps last season. 4 snaps last season. That is it. Well, didn't play in the preseason. Doesn't know what it's like to be back in that game environment, getting hit. So that it's only going to improve as the season goes on, for sure. Only going to improve as the season goes on. Let's see. Alan, worst part of last night's CL is that I think there are more personnel issues than I originally thought. Edge, nose tackle, linebacker, safety, and wide receiver lack quality depth. In terms of edge, I think we know that Haason Reddick is a key part of this defense, for sure, especially the defensive line rotation. That is a huge thing. They need Haason Reddick there. I think if they really want to be an elite team and separate themselves, I think they need Haason Reddick there. Over 11 sacks these past 4 seasons. He's a pure pass rusher. That's what they need if they really want to pressure players, really want to get after the quarterback, really, really, really want to make a difference, stick out among all defensive lines. I think Haason Reddick there is a key focal point of the defense. In terms of nose tackle, completely agree. Just terrible showing in the run defense. Imagine if the Jets had to face off against Christian McCaffrey last night. If Christian McCaffrey was in the backfield, not only his threat receiving out of the backfield, which the linebacker pass coverage, CJ Mosley had a nice pass breakup, but other than that, pass coverage. Other than that, I couldn't imagine if Christian McCaffrey played last night. I could not imagine what would happen. So I completely agree. But this John Franklin Myers trade, I think it was everyone kind of, shoved it under the carpet when it happened. But I mean, I think that going back, that's a massive mishap by the Jets there. I understand there were talks he's going to restructure his deal. What they did restructure his deal, Were they going to keep him, get rid of him? What was going to happen? I think that's going to be a huge loss for the Jets this season, and we already saw it just one game into the year. In terms of linebacker, I want to see more of Sherwood. Sherwood didn't have he didn't really stand out to me. He didn't have an incredible game last night, but as the year goes on, again, progression's key. Once this rust gets knocked off, hopefully in a couple weeks, I think Sherwood can has the potential to be a really solid player. In terms of safety, I completely agree. I've said this all offseason. I think safety is one of the biggest position rooms where fans should be concerned. Chuck Clark, Tony Adams. Wearing a Tony Adams jersey right here, actually, as we speak. In terms of Chuck Clark tore his ACL during training camp last season. We haven't seen him play since the 2022 season. He's in line to be starting safety. There's a question mark there. Tony Adams, great year last year. I'm a big fan of his game. But still, is he able to step in and really be a starter this year? I don't know. That's another question mark. Ashton Davis did not have a great tackling game last night at all. Looked terrible. I don't know. Let me pull up the exact numbers, but here, his tackling grade, according to Pro Football Focus, last night was a 26.6. Terrible. I thought that was an overhyped addition this offseason. I think he inked that deal mostly because of his contribution on special teams, but I don't think they could rely on him to be, really be a massive contributor on this defense. Don't think that could happen. Just can't work. And then wide receiver lastly, like I said, I think Rodgers should utilize more pieces on this very talented offense. But you look, Garrett Wilson got the ball his way. He played great. Mike Williams was on a pitch count. I was expecting a little out of him, not a ton. We didn't see anything out of Williams last night. Xavier Gipson, nothing. Some return punts and kicks. Other than that, we didn't see him in the offense. Allen Lazard looked great. When they got on, he had a tough drop to start the game. Forced the Jets to punt on their first possession, but other than that, he cleaned it up. Had 2 touchdowns, one in garbage time. Tyrod Taylor threw him, and then that deep ball from Aaron Rodgers. Thought he looked great. After that, Malachi Corley played one snap on offense. Not very small sample size, but a lot of it depends on Williams' health there in terms of when you're referring to the wide receiver room. I think Williams' health, because if Williams is able to get back on the field, hopefully sometime soon, I think that ensures another spot on their depth chart for wide receiver, and I think that's a huge thing. It's a huge thing because after Garrett Wilson right now, who's there? Lazard, I guess, but what I saw from him last year, I don't care about his performance last night. What I saw from him last year, he is not a consistent, reliable option. Yes, his performance last night was promising, but still, I do not feel confident in him as a reliable option. I just really don't. Everyone smash that like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We are currently at 1,150 subscribers. Let me refresh to see exactly where we are. Oh no, 1,152. We gained 2 subscribers since the show started, so I greatly appreciate it. If you'd like to send a super chat, click the $ in the bottom corner. That will automatically cut the line of comments. We will go right to your question. If you'd like to become a channel member, I will throw the link in the chat right now to do so. We really, really, really appreciate all the support to the channel member. There are 2 different tiers, both of which come with really cool perks. Fialco's Film Room. I'm teaming up with Andrew Fialco to do some film breakdowns for members only. You got exclusive Discord access and a lot more. Some member-only live streams happening this year, so I definitely recommend check that out. I just put the link in the chat, and like I said, if you'd like to send a super chat, greatly appreciated. We'll cut the line immediately. If you just click the $ in the corner, super chat, you can send your message there. But I completely agree with your frustration there, Alan. I completely understand that. Thomas Cross need to go out and get Al Woods back in here. Here's the thing. Al Woods, last year, if he was able to, it was the game he got injured, he had to force the safety. Al Woods, if he was able to stay healthy last year, he would have been great for the Jets. Would have been great for the Jets if he was able to stay healthy last season. Main thing is he's too old. Had a massive injury last year. He's not coming back. But the Jets need to do something if this is not improved in the next few weeks. Maybe it could just be the week 1 rust. You're playing against the 49ers. Kyle Shanahan's an offensive genius. But if this continues throughout the next few weeks with these easy matchups and the Titans, Patriots, Broncos, Vikings, I think something needs to happen. Something needs to happen for sure. Jaden didn't look like a Jets defense. Sure didn't. Did not at all. Just overall. overall. Just not great. Did not look like Jets' defensive performance. Not at least what we've seen from past years. But again, the offense is where the question marks are. We know this defense can perform at a high level. I like that the offense had a great showing. Yes, the defense is in for one or two poor performances, always here and there. Happens to the best. I'm just happy the offense played well. I think that's one of the key takeaways, one of the positive takeaways at that. Let's see. Wild Wave. They just kept running the ball down our throats. They was in their own heads. Yeah, I mean, it was very predictable. And same with the Jets offense, if I'm being completely honest. Breece Hall, the run plays the Jets were, Nathaniel Hackett was drawing up with him, were very predictable. Toss to the outside, just run to the outside, everything. But in terms, I know what you're saying here. In terms of the defensive performance, they just kept running it, and the Jets defense couldn't stop it. Saw us get a couple third down stops, and other than that, it was just really tough. We have a super chat. So we're going to cut to that. Xander Sass with the super chat. Hey, Connor. Just wondering what jersey you're wearing. Looks really cool. Where can I get that one? Tony Adams jersey, safety here. Fanatics.com is, I believe, where I got it. So Tony Adams. You can get any player, though, in the custom jerseys. I appreciate the super chat here. But I'm going to go back to Wild Wave's comment now. They were running the ball down our throats again. Kyle Shanahan is an offensive genius. He knows how to, kind of work the ins and outs of Robert Saleh's scheme. So yes, was not promising, but you gotta hope there's room for improvement. You have to hope that. And I think there is. I think this will improve, hopefully, as the year goes on. But I'm telling you, this JFM, looking back, not a great trade for the Jets. Not a great trade for the Jets. Rifka board. Guys, remember the Jets D looked really bad in week 2 last year and was horrible for the first 3 weeks of 2022. I think Ulbrich deserves the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, and it's so because you look at just overall to start the year last year, you mentioned that Rifka between the defense the first 3 weeks of the season, but also saw comparison. Aaron Rodgers had a better stat line than Zach Wilson in week 1 of the year. Jets won the game. The season was over, though. There's still a glimmer of hope. At least we saw Rodgers play a full game last night. But in terms of the defense, definitely didn't look great for the first 3, especially week 2. Week 2 was terrible. I forgot the exact score that Cowboys game, but the Jets got absolutely blown out that game. Blown out. Sauce Gardner dropped an interception right in his chest. Just did not look great. I agree. I think Ulbrich deserves the benefit of the doubt. These past few seasons. Excuse me, you're talking about 2022. I do remember that as well in 2022 between the Ravens game, the Browns game, and then week 3, obviously. It just wasn't a great start to 2022, and then they improved next year still. But, I mean, week 2 last year, again, was not great with the Cowboys. Got blown out that game. There is some rust to start the season. I think that's what's most important fans recognize there. Ulbrich has shown that he could, lead an elite defense to victory. I'd rather have a nice showing out of the offense. It's one thing, if the Jets are going to go out and lose a game like that, I'd rather have the offense play really well when they're on the field than the defense not play great than the other way around. Because if we were sitting here today and that happened, where the defense just played absolutely locked down and the offense played horribly, everyone would go, oh my God, is Aaron Rodgers washed? Blah, blah, blah. What's happening? And Nathaniel Hackett needs to get fired, blah, blah, blah. So it's, I'd rather have the offense show success this early in the season. Just 1 week. This means just as much as the Jets game next week. Just as much as their week 2 matchup against the Titans. All it is. It literally carries the same exact weight. Let's see. Allen, I know they were bad against the run the last 2 years, but rarely can a team take advantage. Rarely can the team take advantage of it like San Francisco because their passing game usually isn't successful enough to consistently run. It's the main thing for me in terms of that is Christian McCaffrey. But if he was healthy, what would have happened? That's what's really interesting. Really interesting. And they have been bad against the run, but still, it's never been exploited to that ability. It's never been a strength. Pass rushing's always been their strength. Always has been their strength, but we've never got embarrassed that bad against the run. Not to mention with an undrafted free agent in the name of Jordan Mason. Christian McCaffrey was inactive for last night's game. Just never got shown. Our weaknesses was never shown that bad, that poorly. Never happened till last night. Let's see. Rivka. I was very annoyed that Ashton Davis played so much. Sherwood wipes the floor with him in run D. Should have had Sherwood on the field when the Niners had the fullback and tight end out there. In terms of Ashton Davis, he had a ton of missed tackles. He did not play great. No, they signed him to a 3-year extension this offseason, and not a great first game for him. In terms of Sherwood again, I'm a fan of Sherwood, but we've been saying now for 2 to 3 years that Sherwood is going to be great in this next season. Question is, when is Sherwood really going to show that on the field? Hasn't shown much throughout his career. I do think he has a chance to be special, but I completely agree. They should have had him on the field when the Niners had the fullback and tight end out there. He should be. I completely agree with you there, Rivka. Couldn't agree with you more in terms of that comment. But I think, saying this long that Sherwood's going to be good, I think it has to come soon. The promising development, what we've heard at a camp about him, I think give him a bit more, a few more snaps. Give him some more playing time. I think he has the chance to do something really special. We saw what C.J. Mosley could do with Quincy Williams. Gotta hope he could do that with Sherwood and Zaire Barnes. That's the hope. Obviously, Sherwood's on the older side, but still, want him to turn into possibly the next starting linebacker of the coming years. I hope. Let's see. Scott Connor, I just joined. Not sure if you touched this, but how did you feel? I'm assuming about the offensive play calling. It wasn't great. I said I thought it was fine. It wasn't ideal. I'd say I did not like the very predictable run plays with Breece Hall getting blown up on some run plays there. I was not a fan of that. I thought it was better than what we saw last year, for example, with Zach Wilson, where it was kind of that dink and dunk offense. Or it's just 3rd and 15, you throw a little screen pass to Breece Hall. They were airing the ball out, which I liked. We saw Rodgers take some deep shots, found Garrett Wilson over the middle for a couple first downs, connected on a deep ball with Lazard. But I thought the play calling in terms of the runs to the outside was not ideal. But in terms of just overall, I thought it was fine. Let's see. Scott, again, I'm hoping for more Braylon Allen snaps next week. Will be nice to mix it up in the running game. That's what I said. We saw him touch the ball twice last night and did it well. Did it successfully when he touched the ball twice. One rush for 7 yards. No, one rush for 6 yards. Excuse me. One reception for 9 yards. That was Braylon Allen's line last night, both in garbage time. But again, he's a rookie. The Jets are going to try to ease them into the system. I think over time we'll see Allen appear more and more in this Jets offense. And that's the hope. I think Allen has the potential to do something really, really solid for this team. Contribute really, really well as the season progresses. Everyone, if you're just joining in, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Officially got monetized, so the YouTube channel membership is live along with super chats. If you'd like to send a super chat, click the $ in the bottom corner. All super chats are greatly appreciated. If you'd like to become a channel member, I just threw the link in the chat again. Super chat. Click the $ in the bottom right corner chat to become a channel member. I just threw the link in the chat. So everyone, I greatly appreciate the support here on this Tuesday evening. Thomas, they should have switched JJ over to the right side. Trent was eating him up. Yeah, I agree. I wanted to see him against McKivitz more. With Reddick out, kind of they put him more on the left side. Trent, yes, you're right. Trent was completely eating him up. I wanted to see him against McKivitz. I thought that would be a great matchup for JJ. I thought he was going to have at least one sack. If he was against McKivitz, he would have recorded the sack last night. I'm telling you. Trent Williams, yes, he did hold out. He did do this and that, but still, he's still an elite left tackle in this league. There's no question about it. No question about it. Everyone, if you'd like to call into the show, it is the pinned comment in the chat. I greatly appreciate all the support here. We have King Lowski in the chat. JETS Jets, baby. King, I'd love a King Lowski call right now. I would absolutely love a King Lowski call. If anyone would like to call into the chat, call into the show, excuse me, it is the pinned comment in the chat. I greatly appreciate all the support here tonight. Johnny, we will be okay. Let's go, Jets. It's 1 week. 1 week, all I gotta say. 1 week. It's just 1 week. Now, the real test comes What are the Jets going to do in Tennessee? That is the real test. How are the Jets going to take advantage over this stretch? How are the Jets going to do so? That is the major question right now. And if I think the real panic time is if the Jets lose to Tennessee, then that's where Jet fans could start going crazy. If the Jets lose to the Titans, I think that's when fans should start to get a little concerned, at least a little bit, because the Tennessee Titans are a completely different team than the San Francisco 49ers. We'll have Titans beat writer Easton Freeze on the show Thursday evening. He's the beat reporter for the Titans for A to Z Networks. He'll be on the show to preview Jets vs. Titans, doing that series where we have a representative from each team every week. We had Wayne Breezy for the Jets opening matchup against the 49ers. Now, keeping it going, we'll have Easton Freeze of A to Z Sports Network. Really appreciate the support, Johnny. Really appreciate you tuning in here. Let's see. I'd rather have King Lowski play end over that useless Michael Clemens, and it pains me to compliment the King. I'll start with Michael Clemens there. There was not a lot of hype, not a lot of hype about Clemens within the fan base. Not a lot of hype. He had a very strong rookie year. He was a rotational piece of that defense. Last season, the Jets asked him to put on weight and slide into the inside. His depth, that did not go too great. He had a very rocky season. He's back this year on the Jets 53, back this season on the Jets 53, and, got to hope for improvement. That's what you got to hope. And I think he has a chance to revert to that form we saw from him during his rookie season, and I think that's the hope. If he's able to do that on the outside, I think that'll be a great thing. But definitely not a strong week one performance after already, not being looked high amongst. Not very high. Fans weren't very high on him already. Not a great performance. Follow that hate up. Not great at all. I think that's going to do it from here tonight. A couple more minutes left here on the show. Final call. If you'd like to call into the show, it is the pinned comment in the chat. Submit your final super chats. If you'd like to become a member, I'll throw it in once again here in the chat. If you would like to become a channel member, here is the link. I appreciate all the support tonight. Again, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you smash that like button. Greatly, greatly appreciate all the support. Again, not a lackluster showing on defense last night. Lackluster showing on defense, to say the very least. One final time, like I said, appreciate everyone joining here tonight. Make sure you are subscribed. Smash that like button. Final super chats in as we are wrapping up here. Wrapping up. Yep. Just looking back to that game overall. Not great. Not great on defense whatsoever. Not great whatsoever on defense. Oof. I think that'll do it for me here tonight. Everyone, thank you guys for watching. And as always, JTS, Jets, Jets, Jets.
J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Let's go.
Jets wide receiver Wesley Walker. Wesley, how you doing today? ESPN.
We cannot end on that note. I'm actually going to start using that intro as an outro as well, but we had 2 callers join the line at the last second, so we are going to have to keep the show rolling here with these 2 callers. And actually, both just left. Oh, no, he joined back. Okay, so we have 1 caller on the line. We had Lowski there as well, but Lowski clicked out. We have Absolutes joining. Okay, what? I think that was a spam account there. I don't know exactly what happened. Don't know exactly what happened there. Just random noise in the background. Let's see. Lowski's joined back. Lowski's back in the studio. Let's bring him on the show. We got King Lowski joining the show. Lowski,
Connor, can you hear me, my brother?
I can hear you, Lowski.
Hey, man, it's always good to see you on this Jets Day, my brother. I just wanted to show love to you, man. Show love to your channel, man. You call for a King Lowski call. I got you, Connor. So let me just say this, man. The defense was very disappointing last night. Okay. The offense showed some promise, but the defense got to show up, man. We're going against a formidable opponent at home again in Tennessee. Okay. They defensive line, Justin Simmons and them boys, they something to be reckoned with. Okay. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, we got to get off the field on 3rd down. those third and seconds, those third and shorts, we can't continue to let them guys keep getting those third downs on us, man. We have to get off the field. You understand me? So I'm not
Absolutely.
worried. It's week 1. Okay. Brees, we need to create more holes for Brees. Okay. Brees looked like he had cement on his legs last night. Okay. He has to find some holes and get a burst up out of them holes. Okay. We revamped the offensive line. They gotta be molars and movers. Okay. So I'm not worried. It's week 1, baby. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's in a panic, but we knew this was gonna happen, Connor.
Yes.
If we won, they'll be talking about Super Bowl.
Exactly.
If we lost, they would be talking about same old Jets, bro. So I'm not worried about it, Connor. You shouldn't either, man.
Mhm.
All of your friends at school who talking junk, hey man, tell them to relax because the Jets, we just getting some things together, and at the end of the day, we're gonna go into Tennessee. We're gonna take it week by week, baby. I'm on to Tennessee. I'll see y'all in Tennessee. So, hey, we gonna take one game at a time, baby. We ready though. We ready. We just got to get a few things together, Connor. JTF! Jet!
Love it. King Lowski call there to end the show. King, we really appreciate you joining the show. And in terms of the Titans defense, I will touch on that. You mentioned Justin Simmons there. L'Jarius Sneed is another name to keep an eye on. That matchup between him and Garrett Wilson, how that's going to play out for Wilson, that's something I'm definitely going to talk about with Easton Freezer, who will be joining us on the show on Thursday. But yeah, I completely agree with all the points you said there. And I did mention that a little earlier on the show in terms of I compared it to the offense and defense. If the Jets lost and the defense played great, there would be, oh my God, same old offense. And the other outcome, which did happen, the offense played great, defense had a lackluster performance. Oh God, now there are concerns on the defensive side of the ball. So you can't win really in this organization, especially given all the national attention, the bright lights here in New York. But I completely agree. Talk about Super Bowl and now same old Jets. You can never, ever bridge the gap there. And I completely agree. It carries the same weight as the Jets matchup on Sunday at 1 p.m. in Nashville, Tennessee. Just meant so, it meant so much to Jet fans because it was week 1. It was hyped up so much under the bright lights in Santa Clara, Monday Night Football, the return of Aaron Rodgers. Quite frankly, it means just as much as Sunday's game against the Titans. Really, really does. That's why I think fans can't overreact. I think that's one of the main things. Can't overreact. Take it with a grain of salt, for sure. But I think now that will do it. So I appreciate everyone joining. Make sure you smash that like button. You are subscribed to the channel. We greatly appreciate all the support on this Tuesday. And as always, JTS Jets.